2 nylon washers and 2 wing nuts. I'm going to set this thing up to where this is 90 right here. We've got a marker right in there, right here, and we'll set this up to 90. That's what we want when we first start working with this. The next thing we'll do is set up the stand and make sure that it is level. The pointer due south for this part of the setup. Okay, the stand has been set up where it's going to be level. We've set the skew on the dish itself. So now we want to do the first step, which is to calibrate the skew setting or skew gauge on the dish. So we'll set the skew setting on the stand to 100. That's sitting right at 100. That means that it is perfectly perpendicular. So now we'll go ahead and put the dish onto the stand. Have it pointing south. What we want to do is set this up and put a level on it, because we've got the stand sitting at 100, which is its neutral point. That means it's perfectly up and down. And we got the dish setting at 90, which says it's 90 degrees across. This should be level. We'll put it on here, and I'm looking at it, and it's not level. So what we're needing to do with that is change the stand, make sure that it does get in to be level. So we'll loosen this up here a little bit. That's right, level. Now we've got it in here. And that the LMB is perfectly level going across. This is important because now we have just set the stand and calibrized, made sure that the skew settings on the dish itself is correct. If we have to adjust anything, we adjust the stand's gauge. Now with that off of there, the next step we're going to have to do is we want to cover the outside LMBs. What we do there is we take aluminum foil, put it over the outside LMBs, put them in there, and what that will do is that isolates that we only have one LMB that's working correctly, and that's going to be 119. That's the center one. So the problem a lot with dish is that an LMB can pick up any one of the 3 satellites or any satellite, and when we're thinking we're looking at 110 through LMB for 110, we may be looking through it for 119 or 129. So if we isolate this way, we know we're only going to be able to see 119. We know that inside everything is going to work off of 119 because we'll set up the control box for that, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Starting to set up, we go to menu, and then under menu we go to system setup, which is 6. Then we go to installation, which is 1, and then we can go to pointing dish, which is 1 again. Satellite 119, which should be on transponder 11. With that, you will see that by putting in the zip code, you get the azimuth, elevation, and the skew. Azimuth 150, elevation 33, the skew of 83. Unfortunately, that's for a dish system 500. It is not correct for the dish 1000.2 or HD Turbo. What you need to do is go to the manual that came with your dish antenna. Your azimuth, elevation, and skew. This only comes in this manual, or if you got online, you could probably find a program like dishpointer.com that you can set up, but they can be confusing to some people. So I recommend you go with one thing, and that's these pages in the manual. If you do not have the manual, you can go to www.delsan.com, which is our website. Go to settings on the menu tabs there. Go in there, you'll see that there's a PDF file for this. You can download it to your PC You can print it off, do both. That way you can have it. Now in our case, we're at 98258. If I go on the back of the manual, I can see that 98258 is right there at the top. Gives me an elevation of, or azimuth of 156, elevation of 34, and a skew of 88. So that's what we're going to go out and set our stand up for that. You can see the dish 500, a azimuth of 150, elevation of 33, and a skew of 83. So there's several degrees difference in the skew, 1 degree difference in the elevation, and 6 degrees difference in the azimuth. So as you can see, it's quite a bit difference because each dish is set up to bring in the correct reflection to the right LMB, and you cannot take settings from one dish and move them with the other. So be sure to get this manual, be sure to get it down, and use it for your settings. We got the elevation on the dish itself set to 46 in this case. We'll move it on up to 48, and then we'll be coming back down to whatever the setting should be. Set the azimuth to 156. We've got the stands level. The front bubble is level and the side bubble is level. And we've got it set up on magnetic north with our compass. Set up this dish so that we get the strongest signal while we've got the stand set at the elevation that was called for this location. We will adjust the elevation gauge on the dish itself. That way, as we adjust it, because we can't start at 40 because we have no signal at 40, because this location is 34. And then we adjust the gauge on the dish until we get the strongest signal possible. Then we know that we're going to have it set correctly whenever we did get to the neutral point of 40. We also have to set the azimuth, so we've got to use a combination of elevation and checking back and forth on the azimuth as we go do the calibration. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So the next step will be to call my wife and have her inside giving us the signal strength. Now you can use a meter, but the meter only tells you that you're on a satellite unless you've got a very expensive one. I use a meter if I have a question about the connectivity or one reason why I can't get a signal at all within 5 minutes. Then I may go in, get my meter out to make sure that I'm getting a signal back from the control unit to the meter to the dish, and I will go ahead. And once you've calibrated it, it should be easy to find with a meter, and then you just get the strongest signal there, and then you can go inside and usually find it. So it can be a one-man operation on the setup, but not during calibration. I really encourage you to have a two-man setup. I have my wife on the phone. We use their cell phone, and I put it on speaker, and it makes it much easier for us to talk to. I've got it on elevation of 48. It's usually too high, but we'll check it out and make sure. So I'm going to go back very slowly. We rotate it and just barely move it. Wait in between times. Now the person on the inside, all they've got to do is tell us when we are off of 0. Okay, I've gone approximately 10 degrees either side of 156, and it always will favor going to the right further than you will to the left. That's just because of the way the signals come in. We didn't get anything either way, right, dear?
Correct.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll take the post and the dish off the stand and adjust it down. Now, to do that, when they're new like you are when you're doing the calibration, quite often we'll find that to be able to get it off easier, I just put a flathead screwdriver in between there. It kind of pops it loose. I can take it off and we can adjust it. Now with the adjustments, all I'm going to do is loosen it up. I went down to 46. Tightened it back up. Double check when I put it back on that I haven't messed anything up, that the levels are right. We're back up to here. I want to get back in here and we'll go ahead and try it again. Okay, here we go again, dear. Okay. Still at 10?
I'm at 15, but it's saying it's on the wrong satellite.
Okay. That's quite possible because I'm not over there yet. So that tells me I got my elevation fairly good. So we need to go about another 6 to 10 degrees till we get on the right satellite. That should be about it right there. Have we got anything?
0.
So normally if we get one, we should be able to get the other one.
Okay, we have 30, but it's still, oh, there we go, 119, 30.
Okay, so now we're on 30 at 119. So we want to see if we can just edge it just a hair bit. What is it?
0.
Okay, so I went too far. Come back. Oops, that was quite a ways. What is it now, dear?
0.
Then that should be it right in there.
21.
21, okay.
29. 0. 11.
Okay, so I'm going the wrong way. There.
22.
Okay.
27.
Okay.
25. 20.
Okay, so
0.
29, 27.
19. 27.
Okay, 27. 27 seems to be good. So what we do then is, once we've got that done, we'll go ahead and tighten up this back. Because that says the azimuth might be pretty correct at that point. So if I tighten, now see, as I'm tightening it up, it's going to change the elevation of the stand to a certain degree. So now, okay, we're still tightening up there, so we don't need any signals right now. He gets in the habit, because once you find signals, you start sounding like an auctioneer, because you just keep giving the different values. That way the person outside knows when they've gone past where they're wanting to go. Now, I've tightened this up pretty good. And now, I'll check with her. Now what do we have?
0.
I mean, I tightened it up and it went up too much? Or down?
36.
Okay, so it went down. So I pushed it forward.
0.
And it gets a signal.
24.
Okay.
32.
Okay, so what we need to
0.
do now is, because I know I pushed it forward, I know I need to lower this, so we're going to take it off again and lower it by 1 degree. Now what do we have?
0.
0? Okay, did I go too far? What do we have now?
0.
Still 0?
Still 0.
Now?
0.
It makes no
Up
sense.
63.
Okay, so I still didn't go down far enough. So I'm going to loosen it up. And while I've got it on here, if you're real careful, you sometimes can do it. Now what do I have?
64.
64. That's a good strength. So let's see if we can tighten this down and see what we get. Now what do we have?
66.
66. That's on 110 or 119.
119. 66.
Okay, so we're at 42, 4, About at 46 there. So I've got everything tightened down. We're still on north. We're still level there. We're still level here. So it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Now, the next thing I do is take off the aluminum foil off of the two LMBs that we had set up there. And if everything's right, we should have signals on 110 and 119. So would you check 110, dear?
110 is 61.
Okay, so now 129.
129 is 57.
Okay, so we're very close. We got a 57 on 129. 119 we've got, what was it, dear?
66.
66. And on 110 we've got
62.
62. So they're all clustered right there together. That means that we've set it up very good. Our azimuth is right on now. Our elevation is on, and our skew is on because they're all clustered close together in their strength. So that's something that you can check on. You get a very good signal. You're through with the calibration. We thank you for your interest in this video.